Welcome to the Kingdom Podcast. My name is Jacko. Today I'm joined by Slim Bim.
Yep, that's me, the Slim Bin, the one, the only Slim Bin. Might be 2, might be 3, might be 4, okay? But I couldn't get my name on Uplay, so that's a bad sign.
Uplay? What the fuck's Uplay?
Yeah.
Uplay's the Ubisoft thing, right?
Yeah, my name's taken on Uplay for some reason. I can't, get the Slim Bin on Uplay.
But your fucking name is so garbage. It's like one of those pre-made Xbox ones. Slim Bim.
No, it's not. No, a pre-made Xbox name. Nah. It's actually, never taken, aside from Uplay. That's the only time it's ever been taken. So it's actually pretty good.
Well, I guess there's just a lot more dumbasses.
So I heard we're
Ubisoft.
starting with movies. Is this true?
Yes, we're going to start about movies, mainly because the Discord has a relative focus on movies, or at least stuff like that with movie nights and weeb nights, as well as a movie club and a weeb club as well, or an anime club rather. Ooh. For the viewers / listeners at home, you can find a link to the Discord server in the description below. If you want to join the podcast, you have to be in the server, but the podcast is open to anybody. I'm going to talk real quick about how I want to schedule the podcast real quick, because this is only the second episode of the beta, or the new beta, or the new wave of the podcast I have in mind. So firstly, what's going to happen is every month you're going to get a roughly 3 to 4 episodes of the podcast, with one being an interview one like this where it's me and someone else, one where it's about 3 or 4 people including myself, and then a third one and probably a fourth one where it's a group of 4 people that I am not a part of, and it's gonna be different people every time. So you won't get let's say you won't get a podcast that has, you won't get 2 podcasts every month that has Slim Bim in one of them. Slim Bim will only be in one of those 3 podcasts a month. That's an example, you know.
Yeah, I got to detox it. You know what I'm trying to say.
Detox? What the fuck?
Yeah, I got to detox from the podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
My voice can't take talking for over 5 minutes. It's bad.
Hasn't even been 5 minutes, but alright. Yeah, but anyways, we try to do that because the server currently is sitting at 600 members, so we want to try and get as many people to come into the fold and join the podcast, so we give more people an opportunity to do that. We try to do that as well. Give people opportunities. That's why we're elected mods and elected admins and everything. Everybody's elected. It's supposed to be democratic to a certain degree. But
certain degree.
China's also democratic, but
Yeah.
a flawed democracy. A tainted democracy.
Speaking of China, let's talk about something that China could have pumped out in an afternoon. The Sonic movie.
It could have pumped out in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I didn't go see it.
I've seen it. I just saw it.
How was it?
Let me tell you. Okay, so it is very much a PG film. You can feel it in the way it's presented and everything. So it's kind of if
what does that
5
mean?
is the most it's something you're not supposed to take too seriously. You're just supposed to enjoy the journey throughout it. You're just kind of you sit back, you listen, and you kind of watch the funness of it. Because there's one thing in it where it's a good example of how I just meant sit back and relax is, I think one scene. Here's a good one.
Heard there was a lot of fart jokes and.
There isn't actually a lot of fart. There's one fart joke. That's it, which is actually pretty good. But
it's
what
not.
It is? Yeah, it's
no
not something you take seriously.
Fart joke in 2020.
Yeah, well, look, you're not supposed to take the movie seriously. You're just supposed to kind of sit back and enjoy yourself. I would say it's a 5.5 maybe. It's just a bit above average, but nothing too special. Out of 10, yeah. If 5 is the most generic movie ever. Like an Adam Sandler or something. So, the Sonic movie, I actually did enjoy it for what it was, but it could have easily got a 6.5 from me, but it only had 2 Sonic songs in it from the actual games,
which
is really annoying.
Yeah,
from the games, that's all. Because Sonic games are as you may know, really, really well known for their music, and it had none of it.
Never played one in my life. Never played a fucking Sonic game.
No, but the music is actually pretty good. But it had Green Hill Zone, and friends from Sonic Mania, and that was it. And I was like, come on, bro, because there's so many of these fight scenes where it could have like really benefited from the punchiness of the Sonic music, but instead of just this generic kind of music, I'm just, oh, come on, man. Because I was there with my friend, and we were just kind of sitting there, and we both really like the Sonic music, and we were just kind of like, when is it going to come in? When is it going to come in? And we both kind of like saying, oh, I bet it's going to come in right now, and like in a few minutes, and it never happened. We got like Green Hill Zone on piano, and that was it. And I was just like, what the fuck? And even the end credits. The end credits actually really, really good. It's kind of they recreated the movie in the style of the 16-bit games, and that looked really good. But they played some like weird poppy song over it, so I was like, oh, come on, guys. It was so obvious what you could have done. But no, they didn't do it, which is annoying. Yeah, Sonic movie was not what it was hyped up to be. It was hyped up to be like...
What do you mean it was hyped up to be? It was hyped to be a garbage shit show.
No. With like the hyped up to be in terms of like the VFX, you know? Because of the VFX thing. Like the VFX kind of scandal thing and the whole like, oh my god, it's good now, made it kind of sound like it was going to be above Detective Pikachu, and I'd say it's just a bit below Detective Pikachu and quite a bit below in plot.
Well, yeah, of course it's below in plot. It's a fucking...
Yeah.
It's a movie based on a Sega character. I mean, I did say that I've never played a Sonic game, but I heard my fair share of horror stories, or quote-unquote horror stories, about how shit those fucking games were. I didn't play them because they sounded so shit.
Right.
You know?
No, once Sonic hit 3D, it was just like, it was over. You know? But whenever he goes back to 2D, it's actually pretty fun.
Oh, the reason why I said before I didn't go see it was like I was full on like gonna go see it, not because I like Sonic or I really wanted to see the movie, but because like those animators, like those editors, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I don't know what their job position is, whatever. I don't know what
they're like
called.
they're just animators.
Yeah, I guess so, animators.
Yeah.
But like they put all that work, like redoing everything, remodeling characters. And, like, Sonic is the main fucking character, so that's a lot of scenes, you know, that you have to do.
Can't... Everything they had done so far had to be completely redone.
Yeah.
Because of how different the model was.
Yeah, and it's not like you can, like, reshoot it or something. Like, if you have to figure out how to remodel the character in, like, a limited light source. You can't be on scene and say that you want something one way or another. So they're super limited.
As long as they've got the light references... You know, like, it's a lot easier now with CGI in films, because as long as they've got the reference for the lighting, so they have a 360 shot, they can see where all the light is. As long as it's done that way, they can usually completely put whatever they want in there. But it's, they did really improve the quality of the CGI as well, because Sonic is actually on point in this movie.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks good in the trailer.
There's a few times where the white balance is a bit off, but aside from that, it's really good.
Well,
like, really good.
Well, like I was saying, I would have seen the movie, but they fired everybody. So it was like, why the fuck? Yeah.
Wait, what? They fired it? What?
They fired the team that came in and redid the movie. But I was talking to a guy who I was trying to figure out why the fuck they would do that. Who was so like shitty and so like dodgy. He thinks that it was his theory was it was for a tax write-off.
Oh, yeah.
Get rid of that company, basically get rid of that group of people, and then reintegrate them into the system or into the workforce in a different way, so they wouldn't have to pay this absorbent amount of money, taxes-wise. I don't know the specifics of it, but that was the idea. Was it was like supposed to be like a tax write-off, which, you know, in Hollywood, that makes 1,000 times. It makes so much sense. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Hollywood always acts really woke, you know. Like with like Marvel, like Captain Marvel, you know.
Well, like what they do is they're smart businessmen. You know?
They're businessmen
first. They know what they have to do. Yeah, they're businessmen first. They're not.
And
they're
people
not like,
second.
Yeah, they're like good people second.
No, just people second.
Oh no! All right, okay. Yeah, but as long the whole kind of firing thing for the tax write-off, as long as they all get rehired, that's not too big of a deal. You know, but like, we don't know if they all get rehired, and that's never gonna come out. So it's like, you know, it's kind of a bit of a grey thing. And anyway, it's a way easier way to fire someone which they don't have a legitimate reason to fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit shady, but you know, it's what it is. As long as people are keeping their jobs in general, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, who did they fire? Oh my god, that makes sense actually, because I was in the cinema, and I always like to watch all the credits just to pay respect to the animators, and they were so fucking short, especially compared to like a Marvel film. They're really short. That makes sense actually, because like most of the animators weren't credited properly then.
What was the producers? What was the group that made that movie? You know what I mean?
It was Universal.
It was Universal.
Yeah, they hired.
They definitely had enough money sitting around.
Yeah.
Some side company.
But it was. Yeah, Blur Studios were the only ones that were properly credited. The only animators which I thought were properly credited in that credit scene. So that makes sense actually. It was only 99 minutes. That makes sense actually.
Well,
That's pretty short for a movie.
It's a kids movie.
Yeah, it is a kids movie. It had like weird pacing.
Yeah.
It had a budget of.
It had a budget of what?
It had a budget of 81 to 95 million, and it's only made 21 million at the box office right now. As of right now.
Yeah, they're gonna. I don't think they'll make their money. They spent so much money doing it the first time, and then they did it again the second time.
Yeah. Well, that's just their fault for like messing it up.
Yeah.
It must have been obvious, especially
for not going to an audience and asking their opinions, like not getting feedback early on.
I think they did.
I don't think they did,
but they didn't go to the right audience.
My question is, who the fuck are those people? If it was real people, who the fuck?
Well, they're like.
Was that?
It's like they do it completely random. So when they do these tests, it's very random, and they try to stay away from like the inner city, like the big people, like the kind of we would consider kind of people that consider themselves like film buffs. Because one way to think about it is, it's like you ask them what they think of the movie, and they're like, I don't know, I've got to wait for Reddit to tell me what they think, you know? So they try to stay away from that area. But what that means is people in that area care a lot more about Sonic, especially in this movie. So they would have told them early on that that's a crap design. But because they didn't go to that area, they were less likely to see it. So they probably showed it to people who didn't really know what Sonic was or didn't really care.
I feel like they showed it to other businessmen. They're just like, hey, Bobby, fucking, how about you stop fucking sipping on your coffee over there and come in here and watch this and tell me what you think. Obviously, that dude has no fucking idea what he's looking at or wants to keep his job, so he just says, yep, it's good, boss. Yep. You know?
You did a good job there.
So.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you know how like Toy Story will have like a lot of like adult jokes in it, like it's supposed to be like this like double audience thing. Do you think Sonic was like that or no?
It was. What it was is you could see it that way. It's for the audience of people who can like deal with not taking films seriously. You know?
Yeah.
So that's children and people that want to have a good time. It's like a film critic wouldn't enjoy it like they would Toy Story, but someone like me who just likes to fuck about and like can just enjoy something for the fun of it would like it. Or like a parent who doesn't mind making like stupid jokes with their child and stuff would like it. So that's kind of where it is. It's kind of like it's like the Grinch, not the new one, the old one. It's in that ballpark. You know the classic Grinch?
Yeah.
With Jim Carrey, yeah.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, it's in that. It's like, it's in that kind of audience demographic.
Do you think that was because of Jim Carrey's performance? I heard he was really good.
Oh yeah, he was really good in this movie as well. There was one cringy fucking part where it was in the first trailer where he goes up to this military guy and he's like, it is important. And it's just like, it's like that cringy thing that people think they're smart doing, where they talk really fast and say kind of big words, but like,
nah, that's just Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's
Carrey.
Just known for that dummy shit.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but it's like what really made it bad is how he was looking at the guy, and he turned his head to the side, and he brought his finger up and looked at the finger as he said it, and then like he started slowly turning with the finger. So what the fuck? Oh my god, the best part of the film for me in the cinema So I was in the cinema near the back because like all the middle seats were taken, so I had to go back middle, and the people behind were just like this like a large family of children, and then there was a point in the movie. Where Sonic calls Dr. Robotnik Eggman, and the little kid's like, "Oh, he called him Eggman! Oh, that's so cool!" And me and my friend, we just started like bawling really quietly. We're like, "Oh my goodness!" It's like, oh, it was cute, but it was also really funny. Yeah.
I haven't seen. I'm trying to think of what the last movie I saw in cinema, what like in an actual movie theater was. I think like Fury is one that comes to mind every time, but I know I saw a movie after that. I mentioned in the last podcast that it was Beauty and the Beast, but the last movie that I sat through and really enjoyed in a cinema, I think, was Fury. You ever seen Fury?
I don't think I have actually.
Really
I might have. What's the kind of? Give me a really quick synopsis.
Of Fury.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's like these guys who travel through World War II, I believe, and then they're in this tank that is named Fury. I'm trying to think of who's in there. Shia LaBeouf's in that movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen Fury. When did Fury
the Punisher
come out,
guy is in there. Huh?
When did it come out?
2015? 2016?
We haven't been to a cinema for like almost 5 years.
I saw Beauty and the Beast. Remember the live action like CGI version that they did?
You saw Beauty and the Beast, but you haven't seen any of the Star Warses in the cinema?
No.
Not to say like Star Wars
none
is good,
of the,
but like...
Okay, wait. When were those? When was the Star Wars
movies? Hold on, let me quickly look this up actually.
Okay. Because I didn't see the most recent one, and I did that intentionally. Because I just fucking hated the one before that. The one that,
like it wasn't.
Spoiler warning:
it was
Luke
weird.
dies in that one. I hated that fucking one. I thought it was garbage. So I was I'm gonna speak with my money and not go.
Yeah, no, it was I could actually okay, so 2015 was Force Awakens, 2017 was Last Jedi, and 2019 was Rise of Skywalker.
What was the one? What year was it before 2019?
2017.
Okay, so last movie I saw was in 2017. Yeah.
Okay, so what's it called? The what's it called? The Rise of Skywalker was it was very much kind of they were building a movie where they were trying their best to ignore the Last Jedi, you know?
Yeah, that's the newest one.
Kind of imagine that. Yeah, the newest one.
Yeah.
They were really trying to ignore the Last Jedi with it. Like they were kind of it was like fan service, but it was rushed fan service the whole time. So it was sloppy rushed fan service. There you go.
Alright.
Sloppy
Makes sense. I mean,
Mm.
I feel like it's just a lot of movies. I feel like nowadays are being ruined by like comedy, you know. Like the old Star Wars movies weren't fucking funny, you know. Like even that, like if you watch movies before it and then watch movies just after it, then you know, it just wasn't funny. It was just a movie that was about like fantasy and sci-fi. You know, it was just a movie that was showing you this new fictional intergalactic species stuff going on. You know, and like there was no comedy behind it. If there was something funny, it was like, haha, you know, like really short.
It wasn't. Yeah. Well, we can't take the movies too seriously, but we can't start making fun of them in a way. We have to find like it's. Well, it is kind of yeah, it's they need to take themselves somewhat seriously.
Yeah, I think they just need to get rid of the comedy. You know, in a lot of movies nowadays, you don't.
I don't
really
think
that.
Getting rid of it completely is a good idea because like people make jokes naturally. That's a part of like casual human talk, but it's it needs to be like scaled back. People need to remember that not every movie needs to be a comedy.
Yeah, snarky jokes or like funny 'cause weird jokes. You know.
Like that one deleted scene in The Last Jedi where some like stormtrooper is it was either they were checking out Finn, like in a very verbal way, or they were Yeah, I think it was there. They were checking out Finn in a very verbal way. The black guy.
Like checking him out, as in like sexually, kind of going on.
Yeah.
What a fucking weird thing to do in like a kid's movie.
Yeah, and it was meant to be funny, but it's just kind of not.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe it properly, but it's they need to just learn when like too much is too much. Because like in The Last Jedi, there's lots of scenes and things where you got Poe and the pilot Poe and Finn the black guy, where they're like kind of bouncing off each other and they're making kind of quippy jokes, which like a friend would make, like, you're not going fast enough, I've never seen you go this fast, and like some weird Star Wars insult, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's natural, you know, that's fine. But when you've got this like weird kind of intentionally absurd stuff just for the sake of comedy, it doesn't work. But we got to make sure we don't, because that kind of quippy stuff between the Finn and Poe is actually very good, but for the story. But the kind of stormtrooper checking out Finn like degrades the film so much.
Do you hear what happened? Talk about like even another new movie, or at least in terms of when we were recording this. Did you hear what happened with Birds of Prey?
No, actually. What happened with Birds of Prey?
So Birds of Prey, which got renamed pretty early on as Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, because it did so shit that they were like, maybe we should put Harley Quinn's name in there so people know that this is a movie with Harley Quinn in it. And supposedly that didn't do shit. But what was killing it was the fact that the coronavirus is going on, right? Yeah. And the Chinese market is fucking massive in Hollywood. You'll have entire movies like Transformers. I mentioned this in the last podcast. Transformers is very directed at a Chinese market, because there's like weird Chinese like soft drinks and like locations and like clothing and car companies, or just companies in general. And because the coronavirus is going on, there's a lot of cinemas in China that are closed, or at least the public can't access like directly or whatever. So there's just not that many people sitting in getting in the seats for these movies. So supposedly it's fucking taking a toll on Hollywood, and I'm actually hoping to God this teaches them a lesson.
Well, according to Wikipedia, at least at the time of recording, which is what's the fucking date? Which is
don't date us. Don't date us. Don't tell people. Don't tell people.
February. Yeah. Look, it's at 60 million box office and had a budget of 100 million, so it's doing all right.
Okay.
But
in the beginning, in the opening weekend, it was doing terrible.
Oh yeah, but I think thing is with China is most of them don't read the subtitles, so it can just be kind of visuals, you know, just make it look good and then it sells. That's all you need in China.
It's not that it needs to, no. What I'm saying is that, like, in China, it's not, like, about the looking good that they're, like Hollywood's doing this thing so it looks good for Chinese people. It's like they'll add products from China that only Chinese people will know exist because they only sell in China, and then
but why are they doing that?
Because they need to appease China. China has so much money, or supposedly has so much money, that everyone wants their hands in the Chinese market. Everyone wants a piece of that fucking cheese, dude. Everybody wants that cheese for everything. It's not just movies. It's like it's business as a whole.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess there has to be like somewhat of a. It must be like some factor that most Chinese people in the audience won't read the subtitles. It makes it much easier to sell in China as well. Because it just needs to kind of visually be entertaining. Because that's what the Sonic movie was. If I kind of closed my eyes, there was lots of cool kind of visuals. My ears, sorry. There was lots of cool visual stuff. You know? So you don't need a good plot for China.
I feel like a lot of movies do good visuals just so that instead of voice work like that, or big CGI movies will do big visual stuff and do really well. Because visuals are like break language barriers, you know, like something that looks good to an English person will look good to a Chinese person or a Spanish person or a French person, you know, like there's no thing to that. And it's a lot easier to slap some Spanish guy on top of Sonic if it's just visually entertaining. Who gives a shit that the voices are not the same or like don't match up at all, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing in all kinds of media, as in the foreign market, especially if it's a big one like China. As long as it kind of visually looks good, it's gonna sell.
Yeah. I'm wondering. I heard the other day that the WHO. You know who WHO is?
I think so.
The World Health
band,
Organization.
Oh yeah, the World Health. Okay, yeah,
The
World Health Organization.
The World Health Organization, WHO. Some people call it that way. I just say WHO because it's funny. They're saying that we shouldn't expect a vaccine for the coronavirus, even though it's like kind of simple, until like next year. Like, so that's
And I think the issue is it mutates quite easily, like the flu.
Yeah. So I was watching this video and reading some stuff, but it supposedly has an incubation period of 14 days, and you can be infected and not carry the disease with you, and not be infected, but then become a host, so it mutates inside of you, and then you spread it. Yeah. So you can be sick with corona and not even know it. So that's what's really dangerous.
10 things you didn't know about yourself.
Yeah, you're infected.
You're infected.
This is the wildest game of Plague Inc. I think I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Like what's the kind of crazy about the coronavirus is like the symptoms are really similar to the flu and the cold. And like you're really likely to survive the flu and the cold. You're not very likely to survive the coronavirus. So it's like they both have this massive fear factor, but you've also got kind of there's going to be a lot more strain on like the health services, because people who just have a cold are coming in and being like, am I coroned?
Yeah. Well, it's also there's a lot of people. I can't remember what the statistic is. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen for the viewers. But in like 2019, there's this like massive spike of people who had a fear of doctors, or a diagnosed fear of doctors. It's an actual phobia.
Wait, how do you get diagnosed with a fear of doctors?
Well, I'm assuming that it's like a study or something where it's like, hey, come in you'll get $15 to sit and do this study. Here's a doctor who's going to tell me whether or not you're fucked and you don't like him, you know. So there was like an increase in like America, like crazy. I think it like doubled, like 20% or something like that. It was insane.
It's called the fear of medical practitioners.
But it's a specific thing. And you know why I know it's a specific thing? Because it's one of the upgrades for your virus in Plague Inc. So, but Jesus Christ. The meme is that... You laugh like a fucking hyena from like Lion King, by the way. I swear to God. Anyways, so the problem is there's so many people who are scared of doctors. They're not, and there's just people who like in like a country like America. Like Americans are always like, first world country. It's not our problem. In reality, your healthcare is so garbage. By the way, I'm Canadian.
Oh yeah.
Slim is.
Yeah, I'm British.
Yeah, so we're not American, but like.
Yeah, we have
Americans,
free healthcare.
Yeah, we have good healthcare. So Americans have to spend a shit ton, so they're not going to go home. It has the same symptoms as a common cold. So one, they're going to think it's a common cold. Two, even if it gets worse, they're not going to go to the doctor because of money, or they're not going to go because they have an inherent fear of doctors. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what makes it really fucking scary, is how fast it can evolve. You can be a host without knowing it, and there's like... just even in first world countries, it's really bad. And there's a lot of people here in Canada who are saying that it doesn't matter right now because it's like we're so healthy, we're so fine. It's winter, people are sick, people are tired, people are fucking worked. I mean, we're not as overworked as like Chinese people, but for sure, if coronavirus came in here, you would see a lot of people drop like flies.
Oh yeah. Do you know why viruses, like diseases, spread more in winter?
It's because your immune system's down.
Well, it's that, but also we spend more time around each other because we want to be inside more often. That's another reason. So there's more chances for infection spread.
Yeah.
I can't actually find the statistic for like the amount of people who actually have a fear of doctors. There's loads of these things like understanding it or how to overcome it, but they don't say like it's a common thing in Americans or something. It's just kind of...
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll put it on screen for the viewers. I'll figure it out later when I'm editing this. I don't know when this will go public, by the way. I'll let you know. I'm uploading the last one currently as I speak. So, I mean, that dates when we're doing this right now. I can tell you what.
Yeah,
I started it at like 10 this morning. It's only at 32%, so that's fun.
Your internet's not doesn't sound very good.
And my internet's going around?
It sounds like your internet's not very good, like as in upload.
Oh, yeah, upload is not great. We have a low upload. All right, but I want to skip Corona and I want to cut off the cinema talk, but I want to talk about something that I don't know if you know about. Do you know who Melody is? You ever heard of Melody?
I know what a melody is, but I don't know of the person Melody.
Nah. The person Melody, it's like this cam girl that recently got on Chatterbait. She's like this VR. Okay, so she's doing this like virtual reality Chatterbait live streams. I'm not like, Pornhub. You're getting everything at once. What the fuck's the point of going and watching a live stream where you're gonna get 40 minutes of a girl texting fucking 3 sugar daddies and then her jerking off for like 3 minutes and then fucking off and closing the stream? I don't see the point of that. Just get to the good bits in Pornhub, crank it out, get back to work, But anyways, this is the only Chatterbait streamer who I've ever even considered donating to, because there's so many Chatterbait like live stream girls, whatever, just shitting on her like profusely because she was doing like a new thing, like she was doing VR equipment, like full body VR, and so she's able to do whatever the fuck she wants. If she wants D size breasts, she's got it. If she wants fucking triple D, boom, done. Like she gets.
Oh, she's got like full body tracking, so basically it's kind of like the 3D hentai, but it's live.
Yeah, and it's it's a real person.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was really fucking cool because it's like
God.
super futuristic.
Wow.
And it's so fucking smart. Like the equipment's there. There's an audience that already exists that likes both live stream pornography and 3D hentai. The audience is there. The equipment's there. Why the fuck did nobody do it till now? It's not like we had this VR equipment for a while now. Like we had full body for a while.
Well, yeah, but you've also got to bear in mind that kind of doing stuff with your fingers in VR wasn't really a thing until the Knuckles controllers, because all of them required you to be holding the controllers at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, true. So you can't really finger bang yourself. I'm
trying to find out. What would I search? I want to see this now. Hold on. What would I search to find it?
Melody Cam Girl or Melody Chatterbait? I don't know. I follow her on Twitter.
Melody.
I'm gonna put a quick Twitter link on screen for people for Melody in case you want to follow her for some reason. For research purposes or whatever the fuck you're doing.
No, I'm genuinely interested in this. I want to find it.
Well, there are a lot of people, like, I saw a huge argument about people saying that she needed to be taken off the platform. And I'm like, it's the exact same argument as the Twitch versus, like, titty streamers. Remember that whole debacle? In case people didn't know, Slim does do some streaming. I'm going to have his stream in, like, the description below, his Twitch, so you can go follow him there if you want to. But on Twitch, there is still, like, this big hatred towards titty streamers. In my mind, I don't fucking care. If you have tits and you can figure out a way to make money off of them, go ahead, do it. Like, people getting upset about that is so stupid. For one, they're not touching the same community as you. They're not taking away people from you. They're just different interests, With like Melody, it's like the people who like real tits and the people who like anime tits, usually not the same people. Usually very different audiences.
Yeah, no. The Twitch the Twitch titty streamers can like make sense in some way because it's like it's tainting the community, and giving it like a bad look. But with the with Melody, I don't really get it.
Well,
it's like people getting annoyed.
Yeah.
That they can't do that.
Yeah. But it's also like, one, they're not taking anything from you. They're doing their own separate thing, but they're also bringing people to that site. So that site itself has more money to throw at its creators and upgrade itself to improve your quality, If you can't keep up with, like, if you are upset that they have higher numbers, I think she was, like, number 1 for, like, a while, like, streamer-wise on Chatterbait or something. Not entirely sure how that website works. For the viewers at home, do your research, have fun doing your research, dude. Do a fucking presentation for school on it, but it's insane to me that like people can't realize the beneficial, like in terms of money wise, like especially that has for that community, for Chatterbait, you know. Same with Twitch though too, you know. All it does is like the people that go see the Twitty streamers are either white knights or simps usually, or just a dude that needs to jerk off to some really weird softcore pornography to a certain extent, you know. Do you really want the same dude who's jerking off to a Twitch streamer to come into you playing fucking Witcher 3, you know? Want him beating off to your stream? No, you fucking don't. Let him continue beating off on the other stream, and then when he's done, maybe have him come over, you know? You don't fucking want those people. They're not your audience you're looking for. If you don't have tits, it's not your audience, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's a weird kind of thing to think about, because these people they won't want the person on the platform because they're taking like audience away from them. But you can very easily make the argument, and I think I kind of agree with the argument, that these aren't the people you'd actually want being a part of your audience. But an audience is an audience regardless. The views are views, and people like that. So it's a weird dilemma, because they don't want them people in the audience, and only if you're someone who's like secure enough, like a big enough streamer where you could lose quite a bit of your audience and you should be fine. It's a weird dilemma, because it's like the money, I don't want I don't like where this money's coming from, but I like money, you know? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I thought that was really interesting, you know.
I the other day I found this amazing article. The title is, "They Don't Have Any Money. Greece's prostitutes hit hard by financial crisis." I haven't read it yet, but I really like this is heading. Hold on. I'm gonna quickly
link me that so I can put in the links in the description.
Yeah, I'll send you the link right now, and and we should both skim through it quickly.
All right, let's have a look at this. I thought the headline was so funny. They don't have money. Greece's prostitutes hit hard by financial crisis.
My girl is flawless.
This is a New York Times article for people interested.
I recommended her without reservations.
A prostitute on Poseidonous Avenue in Glyfada. What the fuck? Hold on, I got ad block on, and it's basically telling me to go fuck myself. So hold on, I gotta disable that real quick.
Yeah. Okay, so the price ? 20 euros, about 23.
About $23, and I'm assuming that is
$23. 20 euros. Oh yeah, $23. Yeah, you're right. Hold on.
Oh, it's not.
And
letting
it's
me
got
read
another
anymore.
figure here where it's like saying it would require an average of. Okay, so it went up to, in 2012 it was at like 39 euros, and then it was 17, 56 cent. Okay, so this is actually like about the financials, but I just kind of found it funny.
So does that price mean like full body, you know, number 2, you know, number 9 large, you know?
I'd have to assume so, you know, because 23
bucks for the whole thing.
Yeah, but it's Greece and it's euros and it's Greece women, so.
No, but it said $23, not euros. It was $23 for
20
what it is now.
euros. That's not a lot. That's still quite cheap in pounds. But everything's way more expensive in Europe. This is quite interesting because lots of the standards for currency and like how much things should cost were established before the euro. And then when the euro came in, lots of these countries just rounded up their prices. So you had stuff like francs. It was all pretty like level price, but the thing is, the euro, I think, was worth more than a franc. So it was something was like, you could do the conversion. It was like 1.33, and what they just did was they're like, oh, we'll round up to 1.5 because it's easier. But prices haven't gone back to where they should be. They've just kind of stayed the same. So when I go to France, everything's more expensive. Like a pack of chewing gum in the UK is like 50p, but in France it's like 75. And I'm like, what's going on here? It should be more expensive because import charges. You know?
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's not. And it's like, okay. So just rip French people, really. It's alright in Holland, actually.
I like how we went from prostitution to start talking about the economy of the value of the euro.
The value of the euro. The value of the pound's a scary thing right now.
Oh, well, of course it is. You just fucking... The Brexit. What do you expect? It's going to go in the shitter for a good while. Yeah. I personally think the best thing for people in Britain to do, in the UK to do, is to leave the UK, go to Europe somewhere, earn a bunch of money, wait until the value of the pound is back to what it was before, go back in, and then boom, you're a fucking rich lord.
Oh my god. 2015 when we left the EU, right? Yeah. It was like $1.50 to the pound, and now it's $1.30 to the pound. It dropped to like $1.20 at one point. It's not looking too good. It's not hot.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's not hot at all.
The Canadian economy is also not the best it's ever been.
Well, it's not nearly as good as it was in 2007 though. In the 2008 financial crash. So before 2008, the pound was worth like twice as much as the dollar.
For the people at home, the 2008 financial crisis, there's a lot of people that doesn't know about that. That's when the housing market crashed. So
just bubble.
If you've ever watched
mortgages.
Yeah, you ever watched The Big Short? It's a movie. We'll have it for a movie night at some point. That is that's what we're talking about. Yeah, a lot of people bought mortgages. There's strippers that had like 3 mortgages.
Yeah, so it wasn't very good for the economy at all. It all went a bit poopy. But it's kind of sad though. The pound was like a really strong currency. Then Brexit, and it's like, ah, shit.
Yeah, I still don't get Brexit. I mean,
well, what it was is it wouldn't. The Brexit party, there's a few things behind it, but one of the things is the Brexit party was far better at like branding and marketing. So they understood it a lot more, the psychology of it. So they latched onto one phrase, and for Brexit it was take back control. Mm-hmm. So and that really resonated with people because you have the people which were more educated in London who saw past this kind of emotionally based argument. And not to say that people in the north are dumb or anything, you know, they're not as well educated in certain areas like debates or like marketing and things like that. They're more, you know, there's not their area of expertise to see past these things. So they got a lot of the people in the north like take back control and lots of people in the north feel quite endangered in a way because everyone's going to the cities and stuff, and there's not much reason to stay out there. Yeah. So that's what happened. They were like, take back control. I can take back control of what's going on. You know, everything's gonna be great when we leave the EU. It's gonna be much better because they come up with these like figures, like something like we pay the EU like something like 200 million a month, but what we get out of the EU is like 400 million. But it's not in pure cash. It's research, like what we gain in the reduction of import taxes and things like that. Yep. So that's what we gain from it. And we've actually got like really good deals with the EU, but because it's much easier to kind of do emotionally based arguments when they're aggressive. Because leaving the EU campaign was very aggressive. It was like we gotta go. Whereas staying in the EU was very defensive. So it's a lot easier to do emotionally based arguments around an aggressive thing. So that's one of the reasons why it happened. And then everyone that was smart realized this is not everyone that was smart, but like, you know, lots of people like this is a bad decision. So it was really, really delayed, and it's really hard to get right because we have a lot of benefits in the EU, and we have to find a deal which keeps a lot of the benefits so we don't just become like America in terms of like connected to the EU. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a bad decision, but there are like a few benefits, but I don't know if those benefits are really kind of worth everything. And it's also odd because politics in the UK have just come to like a standstill. Like for the last 5 years, I think it's been it's all kind of been about Brexit. I haven't really heard anything else, you know. just kind of it's on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then the current guy that's prime minister, he won because he had the same guy behind the Brexit campaign, and that meant that they had yet another emotionally charged argument, which was let's get it done. So there were a lot of people like me who just kind of was like, I don't want to deal with the whole Brexit campaign anymore. Can we just like get it like dealt with? So those people voted for the current guy, who really, based on his track record, isn't like good, because he's kind of what he's been doing is he's been in the background, and he hasn't. But everyone's known about him, but they haven't really known what he's doing per se. So with important things, he's like, yes, I'm campaigning for this and this and this, but he hasn't been like he hasn't been the number one face of whatever's going on. He's been the number two. So everyone knows who he is, but they don't associate him with all these things which he's been involved in.
What's his name? What's the guy's name?
Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson.
Yeah,
so it's really interesting. So he's his whole campaign, take back control. Let's just get it done with, or over and done with, and that really resonated with people in the north. And what's weird is what's annoying is his government's been in power since I think it's like 2010. So it's like 10 years of the Conservative government. And everything that's happened in this country has happened under their watch, but because of how this Boris Johnson guy feels kind of separate from all that, he was able to win with this emotionally charged argument. But he's also kind of like Trump in this kind of like he just keeps powering on, you know. He doesn't stop to like look and take concerns. He just keeps going. So that's what's going on with Boris there. So that's another reason why he won. So it's a bit of like a shambles right now. Personally, I think it's not going to go all too well. I think we're going to get a deal, but I don't think it's going to be an amazing deal. I think if we whittled at it for way more years, we could probably get it done, but we don't have that kind of time, you know? And then once we've left the EU...
Yeah, I was going to ask you real quick, are you eligible to vote in the EU? Or?
I'm not eligible to vote, but like I have. Okay, so it's I'm registered, but I'm not eligible to vote.
Okay.
So I've already registered. Yeah, I couldn't walk up the next general election and like put a vote in, but I could walk up and be like, "Can I vote?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, you're on our system, but you need to wait a year."
Okay.
Or however long. So it's that's how it works in the UK. You can like register way earlier, which is good actually, because then it means that I never actually need to do it, so I can always vote. Because that's one thing that stops people from voting sometimes, is they're not registered.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all the time we have left for today. We're gonna end it off at a good number. So I think
I've got 53 on my recording right now.
Yeah, I think we're in a good place to end off. We covered a good variety of topics, from cinema to coronavirus to prostitution, the economy, and then Brexit.
UK.
So that was an interesting, weird circle of events that led us here. Once again,
I'm gonna take over with this intro right now.
You want the outro? You mean it's the outro?
I'm taking over. I'm taking over. I hope you all have a good day. Do remember to brush your teeth, wear your seatbelt, and come back for the next episode. I say all this just so you'll be alive for the next episode. All right? Please give me money, not Giacomo. Give me money. I deserve money.
Patreon, Ko-Fi in the description. You want to support the server? You want to see these episodes become greater in quality or more frequent? Hit the donation. You can donate to the podcast at $1 a month. Get every one of our videos a full hour early, or podcast a full 24 hours early. You get access to the scripts. You get access to graphics that were used in videos or not used in videos, and those are the work files. So you can have access to those and use them in your own videos. You also get to vote on merch. You also get to vote on pretty much anything a little bit earlier than everyone else. And then you can do that at just $1. And then with Ko-Fi, you can just give us the amount of a normal coffee, and that just supports the server in a normal donation. Both those are linked in the description below.
Yeah.
My name was Jacko. I was joined by
My
Slim.
name is the Slim Bin.
Yeah, he's Slim Bim.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep talking over you. It's real fun.
If people want to know more about you or see some more stuff about you, where can they find you?
They can find me at YouTube, YouTube/channel/ a random string of numbers, because I didn't get my custom URL before they stopped doing that. Or they can find me at my Twitch, which is, I think it's just Slim Bim. No.
Well, they'll see anyway.
It's the Slim Bim.
I'll have a graphic on screen.
We'll see you sooner or later. Jacko is a great guy. If he wants to be.
I paid him to do that.
I'll leave it on that. Goodbye, everybody.